This is my introduction video to my eBay purchased MacBook Pros and the logic board baking process that I went through. So the whole story is I bought first I bought a MacBook Pro off the internet, 250 bucks I think including taxes, early 2008, 2.6 gig, 512 megs video RAM, 4 gigs system RAM. And I thought, well, actually I saw another MacBook, and it was the slower version, but the same year, early 2008, 2.4 gig, 256 megs video card RAM, and it said it had 2 gigs of system RAM, but it actually came with 4, so that was a bonus for me. But it was pretty good. I got that for 120. It was so cheap I couldn't pass it up. I figured worst case scenario I'll use it as a parts machine and see if I can get one working between the two of them. So I got them, and of course I started researching early MacBook Pros, 2008, to figure out what was wrong with them and why these ones were being sold, relatively cheaply for a Mac. I mean, they were sold as not working, but I kind of Googled what was the common reason for them not working, and it turned out this whole baking thing. The logic boards cook themselves, so you need to cook them again in an oven to get them going. Story is that the NVIDIA GPUs were running too hot, and they basically desoldered themselves from the logic board. So one method of fixing it is a hot air gun. Another method of fixing it is to put it in an oven at 375 degrees for about 7 to 8 minutes. And yeah, that's basically what I did. I'll show you some video. I think I have some clips of that I'll put in here. The first one, I tested on the 2.4 gig, the slower machine first, and it worked the first time. And then I put the machine that I wanted to keep, the 2.6, I put the logic board from that in the oven. And the first time I put it all back together, it did not work. I took it all apart, put it in the oven again, just this time flipped it up the other way, upside down, chips on the bottom, and baked it again, and that actually worked that second time. So I've got them all patched together, and now they're somewhat temporary. I have 60% of the screws in, but it's all new thermal paste. I just need to plug in all the rest of the screws on the logic board. One thing I did do when I was taking the logic board off my 2.6 gig logic board, I actually pulled too hard on the battery connector, and it actually pulled the battery connector off the logic board. So now the OS doesn't actually know that there's a battery on the system, although if you unplug the power, it goes into hibernation mode right away. So as soon as you plug it in, it will actually come back up. It doesn't just completely kill the laptop and pull all power from it. There is power in the battery, and it actually shows as sleeping, which is good, even though the logic board doesn't know that there's a battery there. So it doesn't show the percentage of battery remaining, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I baked them. The second one I had to bake twice. Everything is working so far. I've booted them up several times. I am installing OS X Yosemite. I'm getting them all up to date. I bought the family pack of Yosemite so that I can install it on multiple systems. And I'm going to install an extra drive on one of them. I got a drive caddy, so that we have extra space so I can put my iPhoto album alongside maybe an SSD or a smaller hard drive. I haven't figured that out yet exactly. But yeah, have a look at the videos, and this worked for me. I was blessed. I definitely prayed for my logic boards for sure. And I think it sounds funny, but you can pray anything you want to the Lord. He may or may not answer you, but He's like a father, and if there's something He can do, He will. And I believe that. So it sounds funny, but praying to the Lord. I mean, if anybody can do it, obviously the Lord can fix it. So and we are very blessed for what we have for machines. And I use mine for video editing, so I really needed a boost from my 2006 MacBook. Alright, it's getting long, but I just want to give you the intro there. I'm going to flip over to the videos of me pulling it apart, time-lapse, and plugging it into the oven. And I don't know if there's a clip of putting it back together. And then a clip of the final, both them up and running success video. So very happy with the outcome, and have a look at the process here. Thanks for watching. Alrighty guys, I didn't really do an introduction here. You saw the super speed action of me taking out the motherboard there in time lapse. I got it out. Here's the motherboard, the logic board. Now, I don't really know how to tell if it's balling or not, or if it has issues, but I'm sure it does. It's the same motherboard as all the ones that have issues. So I'm going to bake it in the oven and just see how it goes. Now, one thing I do notice is that the thermal paste here is really crusty. I'm not sure how well that was even doing anymore. So what I'll do here is I'll clean this up. I'll give it a quick bake in the oven. See if that actually fixes it. I'll take all the stickers off first, as the other YouTube videos show. And then I'll plug it in real quick and we'll just see if it boots up or not. You're looking at it at the same time I'm looking at it. So, got the Intel chip there. Now these guys here, I assume these guys are the GPUs. I'm no computer expert. Not looking at the chips anyways. But yeah, I'll just give it a shot. Put it in the oven and we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. So I just lit this thing up. I actually just put the keyboard on, plugged it in, put one 2 gig stick of RAM in the battery, and hit the go button. Look at that. The screen is working. This whole laptop was completely fried before. That's awesome. This is a 2.4 gig system with 256 megs of RAM, and it's only got 2 gigs of 256 megabytes of video RAM. Backlit keyboard's lit up. Very cool. Starts right up. Someone else's hard drive in this thing. Very nice. And it's actually starting up with someone's document right on screen. Oh my, this is fun. This is rock, and this comes with a copy of Office on it. And I'll check the specs. Give me a sec. What?
Can you read a few pages of Jack's book with him and read something to Arden?
Okay.
I'm going. With me, please. Clear the kitchen as much as possible.
Oh, okay. So this is running macOS 10.7.5, which happens to be the one that my white MacBook is using. And you can see there it's running 2.4 gig Intel Core 2 Duo, 2 gigs of RAM. I'll just pull up the bigger specs here. And you can see what it's doing. OS X Lion, brilliant. There's the 256 megabytes of video graphics. Now this has got, it's got a 200 gig hard drive on it, and it shows 2 gigs installed RAM. I have another 1 gig stick there, so that is incredible. I paid 120 bucks for this thing, put the logic board in the oven for 7.5 minutes, and this thing is working. Brilliant.
So far,